Hello and welcome back to my studio. Today something different. Today it's about plein air painting, and recently I had a lovely little trip to a place called Nieu Bethesda in the Karoo region of South Africa. So I'm going to show you a bit about Nieu Bethesda and why it's such a great little painting destination, and then give you a glimpse of the paintings that I was doing outdoors. A few tips about plein air painting as well, and some interesting anecdotes about why this approach to painting is so valuable. Stick around and enjoy the video. Nieu Bethesda is a tiny, dusty village in the Karoo region of South Africa. An oasis in this dry region, watched over by the Compass Mountain. You'll find small holdings turned into sustainable farms, a landscape artist's dream destination with beautiful views around every corner, where the derelict buildings of long ago exist next door to charming Victorian houses, and revamped and stunning bed and breakfast venues for visitors today. You might be visited by the free garden service as well. There are more horses in the streets than cars, it seems, and there are no saddles for these guys. Tourists come to see the famous owl house, the fantastical creation of Helen Martins and her assistant Koos Malchus, the reclusive life giving birth to a magical place filled with glass, light, and hundreds of statues. A visit to the local bookstore may also be interrupted by a herd of sheep. You just never know what will happen next in this little town. The village is dominated by a magnificent church built to provide a haven and support to the surrounding farmers and residents. And it was fitting, I thought, that this would be the first subject for my plein air painting of the day. First, setting up the field easel, a bit fiddly at first, but it's very portable and light to carry around. I've got my wet panel carrier where I keep prepared panels, and setting it up, having a look. At first, a brick or something heavy will help to hold the easel down in case it gets a bit windy. As you can see, the traffic is really hectic. I've got my plein air panel box, pochade box by the Plein Air Supply Company. A really handy little box, this, unfolding into two compartments, and the palette in the middle there, it's actually a lot of space, and it clips on nicely, just drops down into the easel. Really secure, and I was looking forward to giving that a try. So this is my view down the road, and just the church spire at the end. Getting some paint down, my usual palette, and I use this little composition finder to help me isolate the composition, but you can also use your cell phone, just open it up onto the camera. But I prefer the composition finder, and I'm actually holding it up in my left hand out in front of me and looking through that as I get a rough drawing of the composition down. And once that is in place, I'm still using the viewfinder and just squinting a little to find the dark mass shapes, getting those down as quickly as I can, just scrubbing them in. The nice thing is I can still use the exact same process I'll use in the studio. I just try and work a little faster and a bit more intuitively, but it's the same way of getting the dark mass shapes established and then moving into the lights and building your painting up in a logical step-by-step progression. And once you get all the big shapes blocked in, the darks, the lights, the middle values, then it's just a case of tweaking a few things to make sure you get the good, strong light that hopefully attracted you to the scene in the first place. I found using this pochade box a real pleasure. Just the perfect height as well in front of me. And as you can see, lots of room to mix color and get some nice juicy paint down. It's really such a pleasure painting outside. And in Nieu Bethesda, well, I don't think I had one vehicle pass me in the entire hour I spent painting this scene. Maybe there was a pedestrian or two I didn't notice. But it's a real artist town. There are many artists living their quiet, creative lives out of the rush of the city. And I think the locals respect each other and artists, and I was just left alone to do my thing. Slight breeze, weather was great, really just perfect. Adding a few finishing touches to the scene, and then I can always have a look back at the studio if I need to add something. But I was happy with this little painting, and so on to the next scene. Just nearby, this little corner filled with light. So I scraped off the old paint, got the pochade box back in place, and got stuck into this one. This was all about getting the contre-jour light, the light coming from behind the subject, and creating that beautiful rim light around the bushes. Bit of a challenge to get everything captured in a short space of time. But once again, follow the process, get those dark mass shapes in, take it step by step, and take a moment, have a look around, take a deep breath. No need to get wound up or excited or overwhelmed. You're on your own and in your own world when you're painting. And this was such a beautiful day. Getting a few defining shapes in, trying to isolate the main shapes, and setting everything up to get the bright lights in later on. A little subject that I found actually quite challenging. And as you can see, the sun was creeping over the palette there, which makes it a little more challenging. So back at the studio, I got this out and added the finishing touches I wanted to put in. A couple of extra lights, and just define some of the shapes on the hill that I needed to capture. And that was the final result. A great day. I hope you enjoyed that little glimpse into my plein air painting adventure. You can do plein air painting anywhere, from your window on a rainy day, on the balcony, in the backyard, or some exotic destination. It's totally up to you. But it is a great way to learn more about painting, and you learn a lot under pressure. And then you get used to it and you start seeing things a lot better, and it just helps your decision making so much more. Now I've got a plein air painting course, completely new and revamped, and if you don't want to miss that launch, be sure to sign up for my free painting course. You'll find the link up here or in the description below, and you can get some good information there, and you'll be also on the list for when I launch anything new, especially this plein air painting course that's going to be coming up. Well, enjoy your painting, and I look forward to joining you again with a video next week. Until then, cheers for now.